Tonight we celebrate the 25th anniversary of our very first show. When we first started, many said we would never be able to compete against Roosevelt in his fireside chats. But when was the last time you heard someone say their family gathered around the wireless to listen to Roosevelt spill his beans? I hear probably at least one person a week ask me about Jabber Jawn, so take that, FDR! As always, we have trained our minds mercilessly, to be able to keep up a constant barrage of loud screeches and deep moaning hollers, for the entire length of the show. After 25 of these bad boys, you'd think we could do it in our sleep, but believe you me, once the cameras are turned to the off position, we let ourselves sink to the floor in exhaustion. We know it's no joyride for the viewers either, so we appreciate all that have banded together like marbles on an uneven table to support this whole endeavor. Once the money starts rolling in, we're going to order pizzas and hand slices out at your favorite stop signs. Let us know where your favorite stop signs are so that we can have volunteers there to hand deliver our thanks to you. Extra cheese, meat lovers, and pepperoni and mushroom, your 3 choices, so don't hold up traffic making a decision. Love you, and for all reality we do so appreciate all who pay attention to us. Enjoy the show and tell FDR to get a real job. The airwaves are ours now.
Yeah, they are. Banded together like marbles on an uneven table. That's good stuff.
I can't hear all that.
Yeah.
I bet it's all good.
It's good hearing.
I need to go get some hearing, my hearing fixed. So I just kind of don't care what I'm hearing.
Right.
It's just a lot of big horn against the front.
Yeah, that's where I was.
All of it.
You know, people get, if like you would walk in and I would turn it this way, you'd be offended.
That's not right.
That's not right either. But yeah, here's one I will.
Oh yeah, we're in there.
I had this one, I just don't hear the words, they just don't come out. And some people I can hear, it's the tone of it's the frequency.
Right.
I can hear some frequencies very well, and others are just mumbled. So I went in today to get something and to go to the bathroom, and unfortunately the bathroom and the kitchen are in the same little place there. So, but that has nothing to do with this problem. That's another problem. But I also have the radio on all the time, and I was listening to that WKS, whatever.
QSV.
Yeah, I listened to that. But I sat down on the stool, and they started singing this song. And what's been bothering me lately is at the end of these popular songs, they say that one chorus 150 times.
Right.
It drives me crazy. Well, the one today was, "Darling, let me come over there and tie your shoes." And they said it 25 times. And I know they weren't really saying that. "Darling, let me come over there and tie your shoes." But I couldn't figure out what they were saying. And I didn't want to hear it anyway. And it just bothered me a whole lot.
Trying to fast forward the radio.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to fast forward my body to get out of there. But I bet I heard it 25 times, just that they fade away, and then they come back and do another line.
Oh, we're not done
Oh,
yet.
well, we can say it. Well,
The fake fade, man.
it's amazing how many songs. It just drives
You know
me
whose fault
crazy.
that is? Da, na, 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 na. Na 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 na, hey Jude, just getting started, everybody. Which is great at first, you're like, holy moly. But then after about 10 minutes, you're like, oh my goodness, I don't think I got it in me.
Right. I was thinking that the only reason to do that was that they have to have, the songs have to be so long, and they only have 2 verses. So the song would end if they didn't say that 150 more times.
You got a lot of vinyl to fill up. But
Exactly.
That's
But,
the hook.
But it's bad enough when you can understand it. When it sounds like they want to come and tie your shoes, it's either the worst line in the world or it's not what I'm hearing.
Right. You might have heard that
And
wrong.
I don't know. I might have heard that wrong. I'm hoping I heard
Maybe
it.
next week we'll be like, is this the song you thought you heard? Actually something really profound.
All right, well, that was a weak way Well, here's our
Oh, we have a special guest, folks. I sort of like this style of intro. There was no like, "Hey, welcome to Jabber John," and it was just mid-conversation, just like, "Whoa, what's going on
This
here?"
is the shortest guest
Just
we've
come
ever
in
had.
mid-conversation. This is my nephew Elliot. Say hi to the people watching. Hello.
Hi.
He's amazing.
He's not only his nephew, he's my grandson.
That's exactly right. And we were jumping Evel Knievel over things before the show started. It's just been action packed down here. I'm not sure if I remembered to close the bathroom door. I just remember that. Here, let's show the show your new car. Check this out. Who can tell me what kind of car this is? It's a video game. Hint, it's a video game. Can you hold that up like that, right there to the camera? Try that. Show them your car. Oh, yeah, not on it. Don't.
So Percy and Ellen are cousins, right?
Percy and Elliot are cousins. Exactly right. I just saw some puppy footage from one of my Facebook memories came up today. Percy was 12 weeks old.
Oh, wow.
Already sit, stay, lie down, jump through the hoop, weave through my legs. He was like a little puppy prodigy.
Wow.
But in all seriousness, welcome to Jabber John. This week's episode is going to be fun. We've got some romper room action going on in here. Special guests. We got Christiana here and Lago. But we are the regulars. This is Kyle Hogg. This is Steve Moore. I'm Nathan Moore. Welcome to Jabber John. Wherever you're watching, I can see you in the chats. And do they all say streaming on the blue page there? All right. We are live, and this is happening. Is this have you ever been on TV before?
Had your picture taken.
We should get him a lapel mic, maybe.
Wow.
Except he would try to jump it off of things. So I went to the doctor yesterday.
Tell us a story.
It was my first time ever. You know, I feel a little stupid for being so terrified of that for so long. It's just long story short, it was a wonderful visit, and I left there, well, in one way lighter than I went in. On the other hand, I now know my actual weight, so also way heavier. Ironic, strangely enough, came out of there much heavier and much lighter than I went in.
I hear you.
But it was, it's not only do I feel stupid for the fear that I'd built up in myself about such a thing, but about the convictions I developed to accompany that fear, to justify it, to reasons I didn't go. You know, in my, not even to the world, but just internally.
Right.
Well, just that, ignorance is bliss, and I would live a lot longer if I stayed, if I didn't go to the doctor. But that could, in Western medicine is bad, like all kinds of just long justifications, convictions about the reasons I wasn't going and why it was a good thing I didn't go. Our minds are very good at justifying our fears, coming up with whole systems of thought based on irrational fears.
Exactly.
The coolest thing is these leeches you have attached to your arm.
I mean, that's the thing,
You
right?
know what I found?
A little bloodletting. I feel amazing. Gosh.
Look what I found in the
Catherine has to
kitchen.
burn the leeches off in 2 days.
Are you hungry?
Is that how they get them
Would
off?
you like to have a bite of banana? I found this banana and I had an extra one.
You just found it?
I found it in my kitchen on my way out the door.
Man, this show has just gone off the rails now.
It was in the road on the way in.
I'm sure it's good.
Would you like a bite, Elliot? Yes.
I was going to tell a story. This isn't even funny, but it made me laugh. Talking about people that can hear.
I like bananas.
Like when he
you.
hears stuff. There was a lady that came in to meet one
I'll
of
keep
our
this
agents
over here if you
at the
need another
insurance
one.
company, and she had to sign some
You don't have to
paperwork,
eat the
and he
whole
had all
thing
the
unless you
paperwork
want
lined up
to.
with like little errors
That's
and
good.
stuff. And
Your banana.
so she was in the room filling it out. And somebody said you should just go in there and talk to her, make sure she's done everything, don't have any questions.
you drop your car?
So she's
Wait, hold on. You can't both talk at the same
Let me
time.
see your car. You haven't showed me your car.
I try to follow both the trains of thought.
Oh, look at that. What are these things on the top of it? What are those, son?
Spikes. Spikes.
Spikes on top of a car?
Yeah,
What-
protective layer.
keep those bananas away.
All right, back to your story.
Oh, so she's sitting there filling out her paperwork, and I come in on this side and I say, "Do you need any help?" And without, not even in a rude way, she just looks at me and just turns her body away from me. It doesn't even say a word. I was like, I guess she does. That was the only time I've ever had anybody just like she wouldn't even like leave me alone. Just like
It was a coworker?
No, it was a woman that was signing some paperwork.
Gotcha.
That didn't say a word to me, but just when I asked her, "Do you need any help or have any questions?" Just the slow turn of her body, like, "You know what this means? Go away." And I just said, "Okay," and I walked out.
It's like Dad with his ear horn.
Oh my God.
So obvious.
Gives it away every day.
Gives it away every time. I was a little sad when I finally realized. I forget when one of my grandparents, might have been Nana. I finally checked out their hearing aids and realized that it's really just like a little microphone and a little speaker, and it just amplifies. And I don't know what I thought it was, but my whole life I thought it was just some magic thing that made your hearing a little better. I never really realized it was really just like a little radio that with a microphone built into it, and it's just like, I mean,
I'm not
it
sure all of
sounds-
them work that way. I think there are some that might do something with something that you have a problem with, but I don't know. I haven't explored, I get stuff in the mail all the time about, getting hearing aids, but I haven't gone to any of
You ever
them.
tried them?
No,
Like somebody? Do you have Nana or Granddad's hearing aids anywhere?
no, I don't know where they went. But no, I never have had any in my ear. I haven't been to any of those things. But
Hey Heather, love you so much.
oh, Heather's
Good
here.
to see you.
Love you, Heather.
I took when we were living in Richmond. I was going out drinking with some
Bye.
friends, and I asked my brother if he wanted to go. He hadn't met any of them. And we were all sitting at a bar.
Yeah,
And he's sitting here, and my friend's
He
sitting
had to
here,
go
and I'm
to a
sitting on this
meeting
side.
tonight.
And every time my brother would talk to the guy, he would
Yep.
like look like way out into the restaurant or the bar. And we left. My brother was like, "That's the rudest dude I've ever met." I just busted out laughing. It's not funny, man. He would just every time I talked to him, he'd look away. I said, "He's deaf in that ear." He was turning to get his
Oh,
good.
he was trying to give you his good ear.
But my brother thought every time he was talking to him, he was just like looking at him, like, "Is there something going on in the restaurant?" I could look.
What's red? There's a lot of fun stuff to play with down here.
Oh no, man.
It's the kind of toy factory that'll just get more and more fun the older you
Yucky.
get.
What is
It's
it?
already pretty fun out of the gate with all the
Yeah,
puppets.
don't
and-
even go back there.
Has he noticed
Stay up
you
here.
up there?
Where's your
I
car?
don't think so. Oh, the car is in the trash. Car is in the trash. I might have to address this situation. You guys carry on.
The car is.
Do you think if
in
Nathan,
yucky.
you think if Nathan ever like put that somewhere and you were at night walking around, that you would think it was him? Like if you came in a room, would you think it was him?
No, but it was. I'm a little scared of it as is.
It's like Chucky, that horror movie.
Yucky.
Yucky Chucky.
Yucky, Chucky, you're lucky.
Look at your little pocket. I love that.
I don't know
What
if
do
I've
you
even
keep
seen
in
the
your
face.
pocket?
Oh yeah, I have on the show.
Oh, I found it.
Yeah, don't put it back there
Yeah.
anymore.
There you go.
Here, put him on here. Right on. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the mountain.
I got a tetanus shot.
Oh, that's good.
It's tetanus and whooping cough. Isn't that a weird combination? So, I've been playing with rusty nails, talking to people that I can hear hacking from a distance.
Well, did they order blood work?
Oh yeah, I got a series of tests and stuff coming up, but I'm just gonna do it.
Well, good for
It's
you.
that time. I'm into it.
I need to go out there the first week of July. So if you have to go out there, You can take me out there.
Is tetanus even still a thing? Do people get tetanus or what?
Apparently, I mean,
Oh,
that's what.
it's still out there.
I remember when I used to work downtown at a restaurant when I was a teenager. I was taking the trash out, and I stepped on a board that had a nail in it,
Right, the
and it
rusty
went
nail.
through my foot. I mean, through my shoe into my foot. I was like, ah! And I hobbled and sat down and pulled it out. And I went in and told the owner, he goes, "You'll be all right. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Man, my foot is just bleeding." He goes, "Just the pressure of your foot will just keep it from bleeding. Never let me leave." I mean, I'm sure if I'd said, "Hey, I'm leaving," he'd have been. But I was like, "Okay, I never went and had anything done."
Those are good people to have around. I'll tell you what. Anybody that's just like, "Oh, you're fine." I mean, I know shake it off it can be a toxic attitude.
But it sort
But
of
on
made,
the other hand,
it sort of made sense. Like if I was standing on it, it was keeping it, it couldn't bleed, like apply pressure, you know. He's like, as long as you're standing on it, I was a dishwasher. As long as you're standing on it, just don't move too much. It'll just be a constant.
See, that's either a terrible person or a really good. It's so hard to tell if they just
I think his
knew what you needed to hear.
Yeah, I think his confidence that I wouldn't get tetanus, like just ate it, just burned it right out. If I did have it, I just made it go away.
Apparently, I can step on as many rusty nails as I want for the next 10 years. 10 years. This thing is
Guitar.
good for 10 years.
Nathan
It's
plays them.
insane.
It was one of those things where it hurt so bad, so you step forward and you land on it again, like
We need. They make steel-toed shoes. We need steel sole. Steel. Welcome to Shark Tank. Steel sole shoes.
My dad used to have those for work. I liked them.
Put them on as a kid and go just step on nails.
No, I just like to kick people.
Right. Rick, what you up to? Can I come over just for a sec?
Won't take them long.
Just take a minute.
Wasn't
Got
that the name
something to
of
show you.
Wasn't that the name of an old Ohio Players album, Steel Souled Shoes?
Oh, I don't know.
You
Ohio
Oh,
players.
yeah.
Who's that?
With a, it was like with
I
the
was
SOULED, the Steel Souled Shoes.
were you good? Were you a good boy? Oh, I love that. Yeah. You save all your misbehaving for when you get home, don't you?
My car.
When you get in the car.
You know did I tell you the invention that I came up with the cars? It's I have a lot of good inventions, by the way. If you ever need a good invention, but this one, you make a car. Well, several ways it could be, but like we have one of those massager things for the back that has 4 little things. You can put wheels on it, make it look like a car, and design shirts with a road on the back. So the kids will play on like the parents. So Joe will just lie down with this little road map on his back, and Elliot drives the car up on his back, and kill 2 birds with 1 stone there. The kids having a blast. You can sell different designs.
Do you have any other ideas?
Oh, I got tons of them.
Somebody sent me a video of the commercial from the 70s. It was a belt buckle, and the belt was like a track, and the car fit in the belt buckle.
Oh,
and you hit
that's
this thing, and
good.
it shot down. And it had
a little spring action
yeah.
on it.
So when he
even?
put it in there, it was the belt laid out. But I was thinking, what adults said? I think it'd be a good idea if we had kids taking their belts off. You know? Why does everybody got their belt off out there? Why is everybody's pants falling down?
All right, let's try a favorite childhood toy. We'll probably have a similar cross section. You might be completely different. I'll start us off with.
Okay.
I was asking Cuthbert about this last night. Lincoln Logs.
Well, that was one of my first.
It might have been yours that I started playing. I don't know how that worked, or you got them for me because you loved them.
I loved Lincoln.
Did they come in the
Loved
round
Lincoln
container, or
Logs.
how did you have
I think
them?
they did come in a round container.
Yes, big old round container.
And they were just round logs with notches, and they would click together really satisfying. It's sort of like Legos, but they wouldn't like.
Yeah.
But they would just fit together, so you could build little log cabins. But you could really get creative with it and branch out. And I can viscerally feel the little plastic roofs that go on the top, and you put the slats down. Lincoln Logs.
And then they had the little ones that were the connectors. So like if you had, they put the little
Right, if
one
you
on.
wanted to do a little turn, get fancy with it. Did you have Lincoln Logs?
We did have Lincoln Logs.
Mm-hmm.
I think we probably used them as like sword fighting mostly. Though. Like,
I'm gonna see if they still make those, Elliot, because you're gonna love those.
when I was at Target, they make everything small now. When I was doing my toy, but they have like remember Etch-a-Sketch?
Mm-hmm.
Now they're like this big,
That's no fun.
and they have light brights. Remember that?
Light Brights.
And that's the
Oh,
same
love Light Bright.
size, like that big now.
That was probably just special mini issues.
Yeah, they're like, yeah,
But
you
they
know.
make the same size too. I believe we got the nieces of an Etch-a-Sketch, didn't we?
God, something I did buy yesterday was a Mr. Potato Head.
Mr. Potato Head.
Oh yeah,
They still calling it Mr. Potato
Yeah,
Head. That
same
was a little scandal
size.
there for a little
no, I
while.
love that. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go back to the ones I played with the most, we used to call them little men. But we had
Army men.
we had a sandbox. Not well,
Oh.
it was specialized. It was Davy Crockett days,
Oh, wow.
and they had the Mexican Army little blue figures, and they're all all little rubber plastic figures, and then they had the settlers, the guys at the
Right.
Alamo. So you had the sharpshooters, and we would go down and build the Alamo and then set up our guys, and then we'd get rocks or acorns and throw at each
yeah.
other's men, and we did that for hours and hours.
You hear it. That's the sound of Stanton. A good ear. You're exactly right.
They do it over
Very
and
true.
over again.
Yeah.
Fire truck.
Is it
He needs
is?
a lapel mic.
Yeah,
Except
fire
he-
truck. Very good.
I'm afraid he'd throw it in the trash.
Wow.
Yeah, too loud.
Different.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah, well,
coming
it's
here.
getting closer though. We'll have to hold it. Let's hold our ears.
Woo!
All right, there it
There it
goes.
goes.
Now it's
We're
going.
good.
Now it's past.
The fire's somewhere else.
It's coming.
No, it's going.
Isn't it? You just illustrated something that I think
It's
is
going down.
Going
getting a
down.
little quieter. Yeah.
Going
Good
downtown.
ear. The amount of I don't know, what's the best way to put it? I'll just say how militaristic so many toys used to be. Like I don't think you see that as much. But
Right.
we all played with like whether it was little green army men. You're one of the first things you said was they had the sharpshooters, and it was this thing as a kid you're playing with setting up little military battles because up until recently it was just sort of accepted that wars were going to happen. You're going to, it's such a fascinating thing if you just look at that throughout the history of children's toys.
True. Yeah.
But it also gave
Killed
you a way
him
to.
a bar when he was only 3.
What was that?
That's the line from the Davy
Davy
Crockett
Crockett, yeah.
Oh,
song.
wow. Well, right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Davy,
Davy Crockett.
come on.
Killed a bear when he was only 3.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
the makings of a great man right there.
Yeah. That gun was really heavy, but
I feel like that's just a fascinating thing. I'm ultimately a hopeful pacifist, but I understand how complicated the world is and everything. But it is just fascinating too, just how how you're always sort of in a state of war for thousands and thousands of years, humanity, and so our idea of war heroes and celebrating that it was a important part of the fabric of culture and cohesion, and then we start getting optimistic. Technology comes along. Maybe we could not fight anymore or whatever, and slowly, then the hippies come along.
Maybe we're gonna have sports instead
Make
of fighting
love,
each
not
other.
war, and all this stuff. And now we're here, and apparently, now we probably don't have army kids for army men for our kids anymore. I don't know. What do y'all got to say about any of that?
well, I don't know any kid growing up in my time that didn't have a set of guns.
Mm-hmm.
You could get that 6-shooter.
All right, yeah.
You that passionate, and you go out and draw.
Right.
I mean,
Try to spin them around your finger.
Yeah, that was the whole culture was based on that idea. And well, if you think about that time, we're talking about 1955, since our country had formed, we had almost been fighting wars, and we didn't even have to go far. We fought our own brothers and parents that lived in England, and then we just decided to kill each other, north and
because
south.
that's what you do.
That's what we grew up thinking. That's what you did. So I think growing up thinking without guns, I think is probably a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know though.
Now, when you were growing up, or maybe you too can answer, was Daniel Boone or Davy Crockett your favorite?
Well,
What's the difference?
that was very wrong what they did there. Hollywood messed that up bad because they were both Fess Parker.
What?
Same actor?
Oh.
Played both of them?
Yeah. So I would say Davy Crockett, but Daniel Boone had good. He had a weekly show, but it was still Fess Parker. So it's just like Matt Dillon was James Arness.
Right.
There wasn't anybody, but Daniel Boone and Davy Crockett were both
that's
Fess
weird.
Parker.
Now, which one was at the Alamo?
Davy Crockett.
David Crockett.
Yeah. So
And who had the big knife?
Did you hit your head?
Daniel
That was Jim
Daniel was
Bowie.
more the frontiersman,
Okay.
and he,
Either of them, Daniel Boone wasn't Virginian lore, was he?
I think they were Kentucky.
Daniel
wasn't
Boone lived in Virginia for
He
a
was,
while.
he was part of Virginia lore.
Yeah, he lived in Virginia.
An actual person?
Oh
he?
yeah,
Yeah.
both of them were real people. And Daniel Boone, Davy Crockett actually went to Congress and had a political career. And,
Oh, he didn't die at the Alamo?
yeah, but before that,
Oh, wow.
a chapter before he signed on, he was fighting wars in Washington.
So how about Jim Bowie with the Bowie knife? Was he
Yeah.
a hero?
Yeah, he had a good, it's all based on television, but he had a good show on. There was a Jim Bowie had a knife, and go to sell you some popcorn and he'd come back. That Jim Bowie, yeah. I
Oh,
liked him.
wow.
That was I don't know what actor that was, but he was good.
Now, those shows were made for adults, though, right? They were they nighttime? They were nighttime shows, or were
know.
they Saturday?
They were Friday night shows.
Yeah.
They weren't kids shows,
Right.
but definitely children enjoyed them.
Right.
Yang with action. So,
Did either one of them have a horse with a name? They were like
no,
Roy
they weren't horse
Rogers and
people.
Trigger?
Yeah, they weren't out west. That's one reason I adapted to them, because they were my country, the woods and forest, and you don't get the horses till you get out west with the Indians and the plains, and where there's room for the horses to go. But, the horses were around here, but they weren't. They were more pack animals and for wagons than they were. But so they weren't famous for their horses.
Now, do you remember who played Lone Ranger?
William Boyd
God, you still good memory for that stuff.
and Jay Silverheels was Tonto.
Wow.
And why I know that, I have no idea.
Now, were they half-hour shows or an hour?
Yeah, most of them were half hours. Yeah, I think most of them were. Now, the Davy Crockett series came out through Walt Disney,
Okay,
so they were at least an hour, and they were like serials.
right.
He had 5 different shows, where one week he was fighting Mexicans, and the next week he was fighting Indians, and next week he was marrying an Indian, and it was all different shows. But Mike Fink, boy, now there was a great character.
Who was Mike Fink?
Mike Fink was king of the river. He was a riverboat
Never
guy.
heard of him.
Yeah, there's a whole series of Davy on the river.
God.
And of course, he had his partner. Who was the Davy Crockett's? Buddy Epson played him.
Oh, wow.
Never really watched
Remember,
those.
Buddy Epson was Jed Clampett. But before that, he was Davy Crockett's.
The one at Fest or Fester or something like that?
Well, that was James. That was Gunsmoke,
Okay.
Festus.
Oh, from the Addams Family?
I think that was the character's name.
How you doing? Where's your car? Did you lose
Now, how
it again?
this would have been older in
it?
your years or
Oh,
further
look,
on, but how
it's
about
over there.
James West and Artemis Gordon?
I see
Remember
it.
that?
It's on the ground.
Wild Wild West. Did you ever see
James
that show?
West and
Oh, yeah.
Artemis Gordon.
Oh yeah, good show.
And Paul Williams as the villain.
Yeah.
It's funny how many Western shows there were.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it was a
that's
big
all,
deal.
That was a big
But that
deal.
was, I mean, if you think about it, it hadn't been that long, and we were looking for the, to go back into the early days. We always wanted it to be before.
And it was sort of easy to shoot. It was sort of a whole thing. You had some
Right.
sets out in New Mexico and stuff like that. It just immediately looked exotic to all of us. But you had Gunsmoke and Have Gun Will Travel. And, there's just so many of those shows there for a while. The weird thing nowadays, it's like we still have a fascination with violence, but we're not as willing to portray heroes, violent heroes. Now, like, even if we have cop shows, it's like Monk or something like that. It's like some nerdy person
Right.
solving mysteries or whatever. And as a pacifist, I sort of like it. As a realist, I'm a little nervous that we might be getting less and less ready for an enemy.
You know,
I'm just saying, we might be getting less and less ready to stand up for ourselves.
Yeah.
you don't have trust in Angela Lansbury?
Of course I do. I'm just thinking out loud here. I don't know.
When you're thinking about those characters, the one that I would like to have come, if I was in trouble to walk in the room, would be Cheyenne Bodie. Remember Cheyenne?
Nope.
I don't remember that.
Oh
either.
my gosh, who was that?
Do you
guy?
remember Cheyenne Bodie?
That was a TV show?
It was Cheyenne. It was Warner Brothers had all these westerns. Sugarfoot, it was one of them, and that was where it was a nerdy guy, but he always won. But Cheyenne he always wore the same outfit, and he was just a He-Man. He looked like just a weightlifter, but very handsome, and he very seldom when he spoke, you listened.
Right.
And he didn't have a whole lot of lines, but gosh, I can't think of who that was.
Now, was he a lawman or he was
Yeah.
just a...
Yeah, but he would go from town to town, one of those Texas Ranger types,
Right.
I guess. But
I
he
never
was a
heard
guy.
of him.
Boy, if I was in trouble, I wanted Cheyenne around.
I'll have to see that.
Yeah,
I could deep dive some
I'm
old
trying to
school
think
stuff.
of who. Can we,
Antenna gets some channels. There's a channel that we get with the antenna called Grit, and it's just nothing but the old Western shows.
yeah,
I got myself into a Clint Eastwood marathon the other night that got surreal. Some of that stuff was about as weird as it gets.
a
lot of stuff does
call
not
them?
stand the test of time.
Yeah.
I just, as
What were
much
they,
as people
Italian
bemoan
Western? They called them Italian. What were they called?
spaghetti westerns,
Spaghetti Western. Yeah, they
70s
did,
westerns,
they had a weird attitude about them, and they did like to kill people.
and not afraid of getting just weird with
They
it.
went right to the heart of it.
Here goes Pip.
They were the Bird Theater in Richmond, like a beautiful old theater, used to show like old movies for they showed movies for $1, but every once in a while they'd show like an old movie. And they had one night they were showing The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with Clint Eastwood. So me and my ex-wife went. We go in. There's me and her and maybe like 30 guys all by themselves. It was just like older men there, just like I was like, oh, one of us here doesn't belong. It's like just like
Which one of these kids is doing his own thing?
it was just like all these guys were just so excited to see finally because they haven't seen it on the big screen, since whenever it came out the 70s. It was just, but they all sat like as far apart from each other as they could, like, oh, no two guys went as friends, so they were like these single guys wanting to see the movie.
You were being so good. You're such a good boy.
So, a couple more toys in the chat here. How about Viewmasters? Did they exist when you were a kid?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wonder
yeah.
when they were invented.
Took
that must
you
have
to
been
a different
your
world.
generation.
Yeah, they had
Yeah.
some great stuff.
Now, for those that don't know, the Viewmaster, you get these discs that have little pictures on it, and you stick the disc into a thing that looks like binoculars. And when you look through it, it becomes a three-dimensional image that you can almost crawl into. And then you flip a little thing on the side, and
And you can buy them at Target still. I saw them last night.
they still got them?
Yeah.
Really?
Can you buy new reels for the old ones? I mean, I guess it's the same technology, huh?
And they were always red.
Oh, look. He's got
Yeah,
one.
see, it's red. I
Oh,
knew
yeah.
it. They were always red.
What's
I'm
in
not
there?
even sure what's in here. Oh, good. It's like, oh, it's so cool.
What do you
How
got?
does it work? It's just like a cartoon or something. Show Elliot that. He's going to love that.
And the cool,
And if you shine,
Look in
look at
there.
the light, it gets even brighter.
and the cool thing, if
Can
you
you
fell
see it?
overboard, you
Both
can
eyes
use it as a breathing
Can you
device
put
for
both
up to
eyes
10
on
minutes.
there?
You
Can
can
you
what?
see
Use it
anything?
as a breathing device for up
Yeah,
to
I'm gonna
10
do that.
minutes
I'm
if you
gonna
fall in the
change
water.
You change it? You see something different? What you see? Can you see anything?
Put both eyes up, all the way up. There you go. Let's change it again.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to pull it down? You
That-
can put, here.
That was the first time I
Pull
ever.
this
That's the
down.
first time that I ever saw French
you're looking.
dancing girls.
It was.
Yeah, pull it all the way down. Got to click.
Oh, you're just looking into one, though. You want to put both eyes.
Well,
There
maybe
you
those eyes don't match up, son.
go. I bet they do, though.
And maybe you only need one eye.
And what other games or toys do they
There
say?
you go.
What?
What's in there? Can I look at it?
Yeah.
We need to hold it up to the light. That's funny looking. Here, I'll hold it up to the
Oh,
light.
Heather, I'm just reading that you might have some Lincoln Logs available. Can we keep them here?
Now, how about marbles?
Isn't that
Did you,
cool?
did you collect and play marbles as a kid?
Never collected them much. We used them, but we used them to play marbles.
Right.
But didn't you get so you didn't play where you got to keep the marbles? That
No, we didn't. Never got competitive with our marbles. And everybody had their favorite, so if you took it home, they'd steal it.
Right.
Or they'd get upset. So, I never got into marbles.
On that level.
They were just little round balls.
Well, that seems like I never hear anybody talk about marbles anymore.
No, that was, but it's surprising that it went from his generation through ours, because
Yeah.
I definitely went the
Yeah.
marble route. But the way it was supposed to go, if I'm remembering correctly, like you have a circle
Doesn't work that way.
and you put the little marbles in there, then you have
There
a
you go.
shooter marble. And you take your shooter marble and flick it with your thumb and
Hold it
hit
up
the
to the
marbles
light.
and try to knock the other ones out of the circle, right?
Oh yeah.
But there was some kind of rule in the way some people played, and they would collect marbles and get really cool ones. Where if you won, you won somebody,
yeah.
you won their marbles. You got to keep their
Right.
Let me
marbles.
see what you got looking at.
I remember when my grandfather
I'm gonna
passed away.
change
We
it.
got.
Here we go.
I never saw him
What's in there now?
ever even touch them, but
I just changed.
we
it.
got him. I don't know what happened to him.
Big old jar of marbles.
Hold it up to the
So
light.
fun.
You can see better.
Didn't they have like names like Cat Eye? Get a Cat Eye.
Oh,
marble?
cat eye, yeah. I got a jar of marbles too somewhere. I bet I could pull out my hat every single one of these toys, except for Hungry Hippos. That's a good one. Now you didn't have Hungry Hippos, did
No.
you? That
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Hungry Hippos was
But I know a song that it repeats itself
over
40
and over.
times.
Yep.
I wish I was a hungry hippo. I wish I was a hungry hippo.
I wish I was a hungry hippo.
I don't know what that was about.
Not the best wisher. I've run across better wishers in my day. Holy moly. You got one wish.
I wish I was a hungry hippo.
Oh, bad call.
After you hear it 15 times, you just wonder what it would be like to be a hungry hippo.
You're the perfect person for that task, Heather. She says, my dad put me in charge of the family marbles. What was he thinking?
Where did it come from? Where did it come from? Like everybody says, you have 3 wishes. How did they decide it was 3? We always get.
Three's a magic number.
Yeah, 3 is a special number.
Because you have one that's something you really want, one to help other people, and then one to wish for more wishes.
One to wish for more wishes. You got to have that.
I wish I had a wish to wish a wish away.
Let me see what else we got on.
But I've never read a story where a genie comes out and says you have 5 wishes. It's always 3
Oh,
wishes.
there's
Or
a
people
guy
ask you a
dancing.
question. If you have 3 wishes,
There was 3 people on this desert island once, and they found a lamp,
Yeah.
deserted island, and they found this lamp, and they rubbed it, and a genie popped out. It's like, I'll give you 3 wishes. And the first one was like, I miss my family. I want to go home. Poof, gone back home. The second one was like, yes, I miss all my friends in my old life. I really want to go home. Poof, back home. The third guy is like, I miss my 2 friends. I wish they were back with me.
I had it.
so
Did you have it?
see, it would have worked out if they had only had 2 wishes.
Right,
I mean,
right.
They were like, oh, why does it always have to be 3?
The more wishes loophole. Once you realize that as a kid, it's game over. It's like the you spend an hour going, what would be the best if you could ask God a question, what should you ask him?
Right.
And you spend all day thinking about it, and then you're like, oh, hey God, what question should I ask you? But I guess if you only have one, you don't want to
Now,
waste it on that. Squan Joe's checking in. We're doing great. Elliot is crushing. We're talking about our favorite childhood toys.
Uh-oh.
Wait, don't move then. You're all right. Let go. Let go. Let go of the car. Let go. There you go. There you go. Come here, buddy. Come here. We got you. Oh, we got
Oh,
you. You're all right.
you're right.
You're all right, but he's
Where's
good. He's fine. I'll get it. I'll get your car.
I got it.
I got it.
I got it.
You're all right. He wasn't hurt. He just couldn't let go of the car to get his
We
hand
got
out.
it. We're good.
Holding the car was sticking his hand.
It's like the candy
Well,
jar.
He,
Did you
might
just
need-
do it
He might
again?
need changed.
We're going to do it live on air to see how 3
All right.
grown men change a diaper.
Keep your car. Put your car right there. There. Let's
We'll keep your
it.
car safe.
I'm going to take care of your car.
See you in a minute.
Bye. I'll be back.
Got it on Kethra.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right here waiting for you.
Good timing, Joe. We got this.
Perfect.
We got this. Everything's perfect.
Go back and watch earlier. It was great. He's been wonderful. Oh my goodness.
Did you ever have a stretch arm?
3 minute a baby, Margie says in the chat. Yep. Crushing. Next level here.
Did you ever have a Stretch Armstrong?
Stretch Armstrong was one of the classics. Yeah.
Or the
Did you ever break yours and have it ooze all over the place?
No, that's something else me and my brother would beat each other with because it was so hard. He'd get it real long and just hit each other with it. Me and my brother must
That
have
was
done
one
a
of
lot
our
of.
generation's inventions, right? The Stretch Armstrong.
I never heard of that.
It was this guy who was maybe like this big with a big blonde hair, and he could stretch his arms and legs real long. Like
I don't remember
get
ever
like
hearing him.
He has some weird material was on the inside, some like gooey, and I mean it was pretty amazingly strong. Like you could put it through the paces, and I think you'd almost have to intentionally break it to cut him open or something to see what the stuff on the inside was. But you could stretch him all. You guys could stretch his arms all the way.
Wow.
Then they would come back.
yeah, real
Sounds
slowly
like a
he'd go
cool
back
toy.
together.
Stretch Armstrong. Yeah, you put your feet on his feet.
We
It's like, why was that such a great toy?
we used to get ours out when wrestling was on because you could like do like the wrestling.
He looked
moves on
like
it,
a wrestler.
You like you could break it across your knee and like stretch it over your back.
Indestructible. You couldn't. How about little cans of slime?
Oh my god!
Is that us, not you? No little cans of slime.
We were.
Do you? I mean, I don't know if you know what Cards Against Humanity is, don't you? The card game. it's this game where it's like they ask you like sort of all the answers are like real sexual or gross or whatever, but you have to pick a card to answer like a question. And I just bought some yesterday. It comes in a jar of mayonnaise. You have to open it and take the cards out of mayonnaise.
Wait, what was it?
It's Cards Against Humanity,
Right.
but the pack is in a actual jar of mayonnaise.
I didn't know that. I played that game.
Well,
I
no,
never saw the mayonnaise.
no, this was just a special edition.
Oh,
they had.
special
I got
edition.
it as a birthday gift, so you have to reach down there and pull it out. It's horseradish flavored mayonnaise.
Oh wow, that's pretty awesome. This is a very weird game, and it's unfortunate in a lot of ways. It's just a way to. It's like not like Trivial Pursuit.
Right.
I'm not even sure what it would have been like in a previous iteration, but yeah. What are the rules? Like you get a.
Like it's a question like, if you could have one wish, what would you wish for? And everybody will be like,
But everybody sees the same question.
yeah. And then they just give you like these nasty answers, or
Well, how does it get to be nasty all of a sudden?
because the answers are always like some
Oh, you're trying to guess what they say?
No,
or-
so they give them to you and you read them, and then you pick which one is your favorite, and they win.
Oh,
The worst thing is like if you go to like a family vacation or
So it's
something.
like multiple choice.
Well, they each give you their card. Like you look away and they put the cards down, then you read the question, and then you read all their answers.
Oh, like there's random answers.
Yeah.
On different cards.
Yeah,
And
so-
then the question comes out, and people choose from
Right.
their different answers.
Yeah, you have like 8 answers.
So it's not like honest answers to the
Right.
question. It's like which one of my weird answers could possibly go with that question.
Right. But the
It's
worst
just about making you laugh and thinking outside of the box, but it's
Right.
called Cards Against Humanity. So it's like intentionally trying to
blue humor type
some
stuff.
blue humor. Yeah, it's
but I've been to a couple of family reunions or like family beach get-togethers, and somebody will have a couple of drinks and be like, "Let's play Cards Against Humanity." And you sit down with your parents, and you're like,
Oh, yeah.
and like the first one comes in, and you're like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna hit the sack now. It's almost 8 o'clock at night. Time for me to go to bed." You gotta
not
get
okay.
out. You gotta get out of there.
Heather says, I had those gloves that had a cool cartoonish image come out in the cold. I used to put them in the freezer so I didn't have to get cold to enjoy them.
I never
I
heard of
guess I
those.
see what she's saying. It's like those coffee mugs or something. As soon as they
Right.
change temperature, some picture appears or something. You may have seen something like that.
The man's pants fall down as it gets colder. They're
Right.
always-
Right.
I never heard of that.
no.
That's a weird toy, gloves.
Gloves.
What's in my stockings? Gloves.
So what's another vivid childhood toy memory? Slinky.
I had a wooden horse.
Oh, wooden horse.
My uncle made it for
What
me.
kind of horse? Like a broomstick with a horse
It
head
was
on it?
it was a piece of wood that I rode, and it had just a piece of wood with a horse's head cut out, and it had I could ride it. So
Oh,
was
so
like
it just
when
like
you're-
went between your legs and you'd ride around,
yeah, well, that's
run around the
like
house.
three or four, like his age. Well, maybe 4 to 5 maybe. But I'd ride around the house with my six-pack, or my 6 guns.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And you do it like,
Yeah.
Did you ever have a slingshot?
slingshot.
Did you ever have a slingshot?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, we've had slingshots.
See, you could not trust kids today with a slingshot.
no.
That would be a completely inappropriate
You
present.
couldn't
for-
trust me with one.
Yeah,
no.
yeah, you just can't trust humanity.
Yeah.
Ever since this card game came out, we can't be trusted with these things.
Can you imagine
A
a kid with a
slingshot.
slingshot now?
No, I can't. And I'm horrified thinking about it. But it was a staple of all of our youth. You had to have a slingshot.
Isn't that what those kids attacked the 3 Marines with in,
Oh, I
in
don't.
California?
I doubt they had slingshots. But man, slingshots.
Well, yeah, they got to the point where they had ones you actually hunted squirrels with. I mean, they were strong. You could hurt things. They became weapons.
Right. Now, did you ever have like a bow and arrow with a sucker thing on the end where you
Oh, sure.
stick to the wall?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for Christmas, somebody gave me a gun with a couple of those darts. You know, the cat loves it. I'm afraid I'm gonna hurt him, so I get real far away. They shoot him, he runs out of the room.
Yeah.
But I remember they would taste horrible because you'd have them like on the floor for like a year and you'd lick it, you know, and it would stick to something. My dad came out and was like, "Who's been shooting the damn TV screen again?" You know, because that was always a good place to shoot
Oh,
them.
that is a good
But
place
then it
to
would just,
shoot
and
'em.
then you just see these marks, all these circles all over the TV screen.
They probably still make those.
Oh yeah, somebody gave me one for Christmas. But the pistol looks real, but it's orange. They try to, these kids now running around with these fake guns, and you know, it looks so real.
Mm-hmm. I had a pretty intense moment with one of those suction cup darts. I had a pistol that shot those, and I was older. I was probably like, I don't know, 12-ish. So we're sitting at the table for dinner. It seemed like some kind of affair. I feel like there was guests over. I'm not sure what was going on. My stepfather and I didn't really get along. It was sort of a classic nemesis kind of situation. And I'm not sure I was in a mood, and I had my little toy, and I always sat at one end of the table, and my stepfather sat at the other end of the table. And at one point, I pointed my pistol right at him with the suction cup thing. And he looked at me like, you know, don't you dare, don't even think about it. And I was just sitting there, and for some reason, I was just in a little ornery punk mood, and I'm not sure what got into me. And I can almost remember the moment I just decided to do it. I couldn't believe I did. And I just pulled the trigger. I pulled the freaking trigger. Now, God was watching down on me this day, because for some reason, just, you're my stepdad. I'm just like right here. And I just went, poof. That dart, if you could see it in slow motion, flew across the casserole, over the rolls, over the big bowl of salad, hit him right in the glasses and stuck.
Oh my God!
It was the only thing that could have saved the day. The only thing. If that hadn't happened, I might not be here. I might not be here with you today. But for some reason, fate was, and maybe I knew it. Maybe the force was going through me. I was using the force, but that thing hit his glasses and just went boing.
No wonder everybody
and
at the table.
he couldn't help but laugh at the fact that happened. There was a moment of tension, and then a big smile parted his face as he's looking through these things. It's just, he had to admit to himself that the odds of this happening this way are just so remarkable. I might as well let this one slide. But I still think about it to this day. I see it in slow motion every time. Kids, if you ever find yourself in the same situation I was in that day, put your gun away. You're at the table. Show some respect.
Remember, you have 3 wishes. That doesn't have to be one of them. You can be a hungry, hungry hippo if you want.
So what do y'all think about guns as a children's toy?
I don't consider myself violent, but we had, like you said, I had a gun tucked in my belt, a fake gun tucked in my belt probably half the time, even just playing Hot Wheels
Cap
or something.
guns.
Yeah, we'd be playing Hot Wheels, but we always had a gun tucked somewhere within reach.
Well, I think we're talking about evolution.
Mm-hmm.
I think at this point in time, I don't think they're appropriate because too many people were getting killed, and they're a focal point of a lot of animosity between groups of people, and it's just it's not the same as it was back then. Back then there was no argument about it. You didn't have people saying you shouldn't have toy guns. Nobody said that. Right now, with the way the gun movement is and the need that our country needs to calm down and stop shooting each other, or it's not the time to use that as a toy. I don't think it's appropriate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the thing. Even though we had guns, I never once thought I was going to hurt anybody with it. I never I want to get you. It was more just to make somebody run from you or scare. I mean,
No,
you never really thought, I'm going to
always-
hurt you.
It was either protection or saving a damsel in distress, or
Or
shooting,
providing food for yourself.
or the
Hunting.
bad guys.
Or bad guys, yeah.
So it was all about good things. But that's not true anymore. It wasn't true then, obviously. But
Right. Cap guns. Do you remember those?
Oh yeah.
Did y'all have those?
Oh, yeah.
You did?
yeah, you had to rewind. We didn't use them that much because
Yeah, you'd have to load those things up with like a little ribbon of paper, and there were little bits of gunpowder or something along each
I
one.
never had one that really worked.
Oh,
that
I
way.
had one that worked.
Now, did you ever have the one where the chamber popped out and it was like a little circle that was all loaded? You put it in there.
And, yeah, the circles are great.
Oh,
that was
yeah.
an innovation. That eventually little plastic circles that went right into the revolver spindle thing.
Me and my brother had the worst drinking game of all time. We would shoot all of them except one and spin it and put it in your mouth. If it went off, you had to drink. Everybody'd be like, y'all are some sick. But it was scary because, it was just like it would just taste
The sound
gunpowder.
was, yeah, exactly. It was gunpowder.
Yeah,
there
I remember
was
we did
little
that.
bits of gunpowder on a roll of paper, and you have to load it into the gun right. And if you loaded it up right, it would come out the top, and it would be like, yeah. Oh my goodness, it's just so surreal, really, to think about it. That evolution, as you look back on it, you're just like, wow, that was really a whole thing.
Right.
We were completely obsessed with it. I mean, you talk about being a gun culture. That's part of what that was. I mean, we're sort of have growing pains of trying to leave that behind and not be such a gun culture. But that's sort of an example of it. If you just look at the prevalence and the worshiping of these things as children, that was just sort of the accepted reality. Right. My cap gun was one of the cool. When I got a BB gun, whew, Uncle Ronnie rose up and as a hero. He brought me a BB gun, trusted me with a BB gun. It's like, oh my gosh, it was like a rite of passage.
Man. But it's all, guns back then, like from the movies and TV, it was like a fantasy because they would be shooting like 100 shots. They have a pistol and they'd be just riding through. like nowadays, they're always reloading. It's so much more realistic. I got to reload. Now back then, Wild Wild West could fire 100 shots.
That is funny to watch the old movies. Just the bottomless reservoir of bullets these guns had was astounding. We should just sit there and count them one day. The most incredible, the most bottomless pistol of Hollywood history would be a great find.
And also, they would shoot somebody and they'd go over and it would be like maybe a spot of red on their jacket, like they've been shot. And they're like, you'll be all right, They've been shot like 10 times. They don't have enough.
Keep washing dishes.
It's like
you're all right, just as long as you're standing.
He's been shot. He's been shot. Just I'm gonna get that blood off of you. You'll be all right.
There you go.
It's like it didn't even like, oh my God. Like
that was the whole thing to watch, was the way people died back then.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of pumped over and like, let's move on. We're not going to, they didn't writhe around or cry or yell or anything.
Margie says, we all had them when we were younger, but my kids don't have any guns. Like Mr. Moore said, times are different, and it's looked at as being inappropriate.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's the dumbest toy that they still are giving people? Is, would you hand a child like Elliot something that had a temperature of 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit?
No, what are you talking about?
That would just burn them to
like sparklers or something?
Of course not.
Sparklers. I remember
Right.
they just would hand them out to little
Right.
kids.
Here you go. Here's yours.
Go run down through go run down through the yard with this
With a piece of metal.
With a piece of metal that is on fire. This is metal on fire. You understand how the temperature has to be before you can light metal? Unbelievable.
And the worst thing is, they didn't even have cell phones back then to record it. They just had to watch you do it. Well, that memory's gone.
How do you put these out? Well, you just wet your...
How do you put them out?
They just go out.
They just go out.
He's back.
He's a new man.
All righty. Come on over here.
Is that his new favorite toy?
Maybe.
It is
Are
pretty
you
fascinating.
changed?
I don't think Kyle ever looked through it.
There's your car. I took care of it
What did
for
he do
you.
about a bird?
Here, put it on here. Let's ride
Is
on
it
it.
bird time?
Wee, wee, wee. Look at
I used to have for Matchbox cars.
Look, Elliot.
Is that MC Hammer? Who was
I'm
that?
not sure.
Woo! Oh,
Now Elliot would love this toy. These connectable rubber tracks for Matchbox cars.
Oh, yeah.
Did you ever do those? And you have like an endless supply of them, and you connect them all together, and had little raised sides so the car wouldn't fall off.
Oop.
And you just
I'm
start it
sorry.
up here and just take it down on the floor.
him
You
up.
put a little turn in it. Just keep
You
on
get
having
it.
a downward
Thank you.
slip every now and again to keep the momentum up. I love that toy.
God, we didn't even talk about that. Trains or electric race cars.
Oh, electric race cars.
I mean,
I love race cars.
You would love electric
you
race
love
cars.
race cars.
Man,
electric race cars always ended up in either me and my brother crying because yours would fly off and hit the. He would be like, "I won." He'd be like, "That's not fair! Mine, we gotta start over." Mine flew off. You're driving too fast. You know?
right,
Like-
right.
You want another bite of banana?
Yeah.
Yeah, my grandfather in the basement had one of those. He built like the whole village.
You had
train
an
for
elaborate train set.
it. We did,
Granddad?
and we weren't even allowed to touch it. No, he'd go down there and stand 10 feet back, and I'll run it for you.
Is
know?
your granddad?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, that was
Little
cool.
miniature trees and
Yeah,
everything.
The churches,
good?
and the post office and stuff.
Like
But the electric race cars, but didn't they look like guns too? The handles, you
That-
pull the trigger.
Yeah,
and
that
you-
was the original version.
Wow.
Oh man, they were fun. But don't they have like big places you can go now and race electric cars?
We had one in Stanton for a long time. I don't know if it was at the mall, so I don't know if it moved after the mall closed or not. But they had giant racetracks where
Right.
you control the cars. Super fun.
Boing, boing, boing.
Another favorite toy I had was a dominoes set that was all about not playing dominoes, but setting them up so they knock each other off.
yeah.
And it had like all these. It would be like a flat piece of plastic with like 15 dominoes on it, with all hinged, so you could just like turn it that way and they'd all stand up, and so it was like prefab.
cool.
And then you'd have loose ones to do turns and all that kind of stuff. But trying to set up, you spend hours setting up this elaborate thing just to knock it over, just to
Right.
see them all go, see if it would knock all of them down. I love stuff like that.
Now, were you ever into building the card?
Card houses?
Yeah, like
I
the-
definitely,
Really go
I
up
never got deep into that, but I tried it a few times. I like things that are, the dominoes are fragile like that. But I really enjoyed like the Matchbox tracks that you
Right.
could snap together. And I would do that down in Granddad's basement. I remember I would used to take his wood and nail it together and try to make elaborate paths for marbles.
Oh wow!
So it would come down this
Did you
thing,
get
and then
one?
hit that, and then go down
Did you
another
get-
piece
did
of
you fall
wood, and
down?
just see how elaborate of a path I could make for a marble to travel.
By my head.
Oh, what happened?
A little boo-boo.
Yeah, that was scary. Boy, I've never been so scared in my life.
Is it all right?
His hand stuck under the chair,
Can I- want me to
screaming,
kiss it?
bloody murder. I was like, oh, Joe's just signed on, is watching. I'm like,
I didn't-
this is not happening. Dad, don't move, whatever you do.
I didn't know we had a raccoon living under the chair. Let him go.
I don't know what's got him. A little tiny alligator. Just kidding. There's no little tiny alligators. They're all huge and terrifying.
Thinking about that racetrack stuff, though, now that I'm thinking about it, me and my brother must have been so cruel to each other. I remember just beating each other with those things, too.
Just every memory just flashes back into how you and your brother beat each other with it. Oh, yeah, Stretch Armstrong, he used to beat me with that.
Remember you,
We had Care Bears. I used to beat the
I
heck
remember,
out
I
of my
remember,
brother
that
with
he'd
those.
walk by and I'd get him
I
across
don't
the
wanna
back of
play
the
with it,
legs.
it'll
He'd
fall
go
on the
grab one,
chair.
come at
Get
me.
over
He'd be like,
here.
nah, stop. You know?
I'd rather do that.
That's probably the reason we never got slingshots. They know we would have. I wonder if we ever felt bad if we hurt each other. I can't imagine. I don't remember ever like.
You know, apologize. It's like,
can't-
oh my
I don't-
God,
I don't
I'm so
remember-
sorry I did that.
They probably made us go apologize.
Yeah, you were made
You
to
didn't mean
apologize.
it.
Right. You didn't mean it.
I didn't even hit you that hard. What are you crying for? You just want attention.
I'm sorry.
Want to climb up here?
He used to get so mad. I mean, we were older then, but I would always tell him, man, there's the dumbest kid at school. This guy named Kelly Hall.
Did you hit your toe?
Gah. And he would say, I know you're saying my name. Like, no, it's Kelly Hall.
Good.
Gah. My mom would be like driving, stop! Stop! You're driving us both crazy. I'm like, I'm not talking about him. It's this new kid, Kelly Hall. Gah.
I'm sorry if I'm not paying as much attention as I
You got your
usually do.
hands full.
But yeah, we're busy over here.
Or maybe you should teach Elliot about a bird.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You want to learn about a bird? Yeah, you want to hear me talk about a bird? All right. This is a book about birds. See, there's a bird there.
Bird.
Bird.
Hey, Corey, welcome to the show.
All right, I'm going to.
About to learn about a new bird today.
All right, let's see if I can find my baseball card.
Oh, you got a baseball card bookmark?
Of course. I was going to ask you, what's your favorite team? I was going to put you together some baseball cards.
Pirates was
Pirates.
growing up.
All
I
right.
don't know now, though.
Next week.
I don't know about.
Well, do you want it? But for your bookmarks, you want Pittsburgh Pirates?
If they're from the 70s.
Yeah, I can do that.
Ish.
I can do that. And that's
Ish.
your order. Your order. What is your order?
It'd probably be the Orioles.
Orioles. And what time period?
I think maybe the 80s.
80s. Okay.
Uncle Nathan.
Wow.
Uncle Nathan. All right, here he is. This is the bird of the
Ooh,
day.
That's a great bird.
Now, here's a story. This morning, when I was reading my paper upstairs, I heard this tapping at my door, and I said, that's not a person. And then it tapped again and stopped. And I said, I better check. So I got up and looked, and sure enough, it wasn't a person. It was this bird. And that bird is called a downy woodpecker.
The downy woodpecker.
The downy woodpecker.
I don't
Now,
see the downy there. It just says woodpecker.
well, it's talking about all of them. But here's the two that is commonly little bird, black and white, with a little bit of red on the back of the head, but not always. The males have a pronounced red back there. They're a little bird. They're smaller than a robin. But the hairy woodpecker and the downy woodpecker look exactly the same, except the hairy woodpecker is about a half a size bigger, and the downy's a small one. Well, if you don't see them side by side, it's hard to
So
tell.
you wouldn't be need the
But
comparison.
most of the time, when you see one of these, it's a downy.
Is that the same thing as a red-headed woodpecker? Or is
No,
that's a different bird?
there's a red-bellied woodpecker, a red-headed woodpecker, and neither one of them are the same. They're bigger woodpeckers. We could talk about them another time.
Downy woodpecker. Oh yeah, I'll show the picture to
Oh.
the show real quick.
Yeah, the one on the bigger one is the hairy, and it's H-A-I-R, not H-A-R-R-I-Y. It's not Harry
It's
the
not
woodpecker.
Harry. Hey Harry. Hey Bob.
Remember how to use that? Yeah, you do.
How many
remember. Way to go.
woodpeckers? How many different kinds of woodpeckers are there? Is that too? I mean, is it a
Well-
lot? Is there, or is it a little
Not a lot, about 5 or 6 normally around here.
around here?
You go all the way from the pileated, which is the great big ones, to the downies, the smallest. But well, the thing that is interesting this morning was that I learned when I was reading this was that I always think about the downies, the pecking. You hear that rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat. Usually when they do that, they're not looking for food. They're actually, it's a way they do to make a call. So they're actually telling the other birds that they're here. It's just like a sing. They can actually make sounds with their voice too, but a lot of times they let everybody know they're around. That rat-a-tat-tat is for them to tell everybody. It's a territorial thing and a sexual thing to say,
It's their song.
yeah, it's their way of announcing their presence, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what he was doing today, because he obviously wasn't looking for anything. He was on the hard wood of the door. He wasn't looking for a bug because there wasn't
He's no
anything there.
dummy. He's not
He
thinking
was
there's
just
bugs in
just
there.
messing with me, because they know me because I walk around the neighborhood. But I take everything personally.
As we
But
tend to do.
yeah, but they do. The other thing is their range is fascinating. They're from all the way from Mexico to Pacific Northwest. Melissa up there and Magpie, they have the same downy woodpecker
Oh wow.
that
look
we
at
do,
that.
and all the way to Canada.
That's rare.
It is rare, and they're year round, and they feed.
Is that what explains that? They're not migratory, so if they wind up somewhere, they stay?
Well, it's just that they're adapted to so many different regions because the way they feed. And the only place you probably won't find them is where there aren't trees. They need trees. So probably in the Great Plains you won't see many. But if you find a woodlot somewhere, there probably might be one has moved. The family's moved in.
But the woodpecker doesn't eat the wood, does it? It's
No,
just
no,
Bugs
they,
underneath the
they're
bark.
they're going for larvae and insects. So they mainly eat, but they'll eat seeds and berries. They do come to feed.
Are they getting food the same way though? Did I misspeak there?
Well, no, except if you can tell what wood they're working on. If they're hitting good, hard, solid, healthy tree, they're not trying to get anything much. Now, maybe they're shooting under the bark or something. What?
Miss.
Do you find something?
Miss.
Yeah, well, here's the car. And this is the bird we're talking about right here. It's called a downy woodpecker.
Downy
and I know
woodpecker.
you've seen them out at your house because you have them out there. Have you seen one of those before? You think?
Ooh,
Say yes, Granddad.
yes.
Well, thank you.
So, so they breed. They have a nesting once or twice in the year, but usually just once. They're monogamous. They
Love that.
yeah. And, they well, what else? What else do you want to know?
Well, it seems like I guess you could tell from a skeleton if it was a woodpecker type bird because their beaks and maybe the structure of their legs and stuff is different.
Well, the legs are meant to climb up trees, so they're more pronounced like that. Now, the head, people would wonder why they don't get a concussion, and they have a cushioning in the front and the back. Where I was reading today that human beings have that cushioning up and down. Well, down at least. We have some cushioning here, which
For jumping or like
For jumping.
for walking.
for
even?
jumping and walking, and for trees falling on your head.
now. Didn't you tell us a
Thank
couple of weeks
goodness
ago
we
that
have that.
woodpeckers have some weird tongue that wraps around? Or
Yes, and I didn't see that with this article. That was with the flicker, but all of them have that.
The flicker's a
long,
woodpecker?
The flickers in the woodpecker group, but yeah, they have a long tongue that can go down there and pull out the little bugs and things, and it wraps around in the back of their head, and so they have a special head just for what they do. It's a very
Wow.
specific thing they have. Now they will come to feeders. They will eat sunflower seeds the same way titmice and chickadee. They'll take the sunflower seed, and they don't have a beak crush it, so they'll grab the seed, go to a branch, and put that in the bark, and then peck on it and eat it. So that's their way of getting the sunflower seeds. So they will come to your feeder, and they are just the cutest little bird.
Standard kind of nest.
Don't nest.
They don't
They
nest.
build in a hole. They build the hole. Most of the holes you'll see in trees are made from woodpeckers. People think squirrels squirrels will take over the holes after the woodpeckers leave, but squirrels are always just using somebody else's
So not
house.
only do they make a hole, but then they have to really dig it out to
Yeah.
get inside the,
It takes
the
them
tree.
it takes them a week or two to make a hole. Well, and a lot of times those are they use a hollow tree, so it's not as bad. But yeah, That takes a lot of work.
But they don't then build a nest inside that hole. The
Well,
hole
maybe
is
a
the
little
nest,
bit, yeah.
basically.
Yeah, they might put some stuff down in the bottom to lay on, or they might use the sawdust that they made. I don't know.
That's what I was
But
gonna.
they're not
Oh,
big
yeah.
nest builders.
Does any other animal use the sawdust for anything, like the ants build, or does any animal take it?
I don't know.
Does any animal what?
Like use the sawdust? Like does the ant say, "Let's build a nest out of this sawdust"? Or?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything about what happens to that. I guess they just kind of throw it out onto the ground and
Uh-oh.
becomes
Ours
part of
back
the
in
soil.
the trash, isn't it?
Oh
I
no!
don't know what to tell you at this point.
Did you lose it again? Well, we'll get it.
We'll get it.
That sounds like a Boy Scout thing too. Like if you need to build a fire, you just have to find where the woodpeckers were and collect all that dust, the wood
Right.
dust, and
Don't worry, we'll be fine. A woodpecker nested here. We're gonna make it through the night.
everyone just burrow down inside this sawdust. You'll stay warm tonight. It's in my
There we go.
eyes. It's in my eyes. I can't breathe.
Well, are there any other woodpecker questions?
Let's see. Any woodpecker questions in the chat?
That's sort of it's fascinating. They live all over. Like so many of them you say have their little areas that they
Right.
live everywhere.
Yeah, they. That means they're very adaptive to a lot of different places.
I do really. I always love woodpeckers. They're so fascinating, and you can really just sort of not only the sound will draw you, but you can spot them from so far away because of their silhouettes on the trees and just the strange behavior. Such a unique, different kind
That's
of
my
bird
microphone.
entirely,
That's how people hear us.
and
when
the
we
way
talk.
they handle that vertical territory, just like they're as comfortable on the side of a tree
Right.
as we are on the ground. That's their preferred. That's their ground. That's the ground beneath their feet.
You have a beautiful nose. That's a wonderful nose. Show Uncle Nathan your nose.
That's fine nose. He knows noses.
I know nose.
Granddad knows noses.
No.
The nose.
Wait, I'm gonna. Oh, I took your nose. I got your nose. You want it back? I've never done this in my life. This is a dream come true. Wait, I'll put it back. Whoop.
He's a
There you
magician.
go.
He's a
Your nose is
magician.
back. Oh. Yeah, that's like the first magic trick all humanity's ever exposed
He
to.
actually fell for it.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it at first, just you're so shocked and everything's a little blurry because your nose has just been stolen. You see it.
No.
Nice job.
He didn't panic.
Mustache.
No. He seemed to completely believe that I had his nose and was a bit concerned,
He must
but
trust
not
you.
horrified. Not freaking out. This is Uncle Nathan, after all. I'm sure he's going to put my
bet you're
nose back
getting
where it
tired.
belongs.
Now, what if you had dropped it and it rolled onto the chair when you grabbed it?
you
You
getting
couldn't pull your
tired?
hand
I
back
couldn't.
You
out.
wanna come up and sit
I
with
got
me?
your nose. But I
We'd have
can't
to
get
get
it.
Dad up out of the chair, move the chair. That would have to happen.
You want to come up and sit?
Man, this time
Come
flew
on
by
over here.
tonight.
Oh, you're too
I'm not
big.
sure we
Come
covered
on.
anything, but we sure
There you are.
time
you
traveled
are.
through the show.
Let's look at the camera and say hi. Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Thanks for watching out there. This was episode 25. 25. Quarter of a century.
Yeah. And remember when we first started, we were
Where's
all
your
his
feet?
age. So it's what,
That big old toe. That's a great
we're bringing a
toe.
new host in and getting them trained.
Where's your toe? There's a toe. That's your big toe. Where's your baby toe? There's your baby toe.
Do
That's a
people,
baby
do people
toe.
still do this little piggy went to the market thing? Is that still cool?
I forgot the words.
Wee, wee, wee.
One of them had,
all the way
one of them had
home.
roast beef. I remember that.
Wee, all the way up. And now it's pee, all the way to the bathroom.
This little piggy had roast beef. This
Yep.
little piggy had none. Isn't that what it is?
Yep. Wee.
What's that?
Yeah, that's a bump.
Then
Yeah, that's a marble. I ate a marble and it ended up there.
I hadn't heard that one. That's a good one.
And he said,
Yeah.
and he said that he didn't collect them.
That's the last time we're playing marbles with Dad. Ain't that right, Kyle? We talked. That's it.
No, that's when I.
That was my favorite. That was my cat's eye. Was it?
You've lost your marbles. How did that become? That's another thing. How did that become something? You've lost your mind. You've lost your marbles.
Lost your marbles. Well, you know, definitely
we're
when
gonna get a song.
you spill a bag of marbles, they just go everywhere. Like one will go under the
that's
fridge, one will
right.
go under the couch. Like they just scatter in all directions, and it's hard to get them all back. If you lost your marbles,
Oh
you
yeah.
see that's sort of an apt description of just losing touch.
That's a good description.
Yeah.
We came
You're
full
such
full
a
circle
boy
with the
tonight.
marbles.
That's right.
I thought you'd be tired by now, but you're doing
I'm
so
sure you've got a
good.
song
Oh, it's just so
about it.
exciting. How can you get tired when there's so much action? I don't know if I remember how to play this song, but I want to do the I Won't Grow Up song.
You jump in anytime you want to. Do that 20 times.
All right, everybody, repeat after me. I won't grow up. I won't grow up. I don't want to go to school
I don't
I
want to
want to
go
go to school
just to learn to be a parrot
just to learn to be a parrot
and recite a silly rule.
and recite some silly rules.
And if growing up means it would be beneath my dignity to climb a tree, I won't grow up, won't grow up, never gonna grow up, not me.
Not me. Not me.
I won't grow up,
I
won't grow up. I don't wanna wear a tie
I don't want to wear a tie.
or a serious expression.
Silly,
I won't
serious.
try.
A silly,
that
serious in the middle of July.
In the middle of July.
And if it means I must prepare to shoulder burdens with a worried air, I won't grow up, won't grow up, never gonna grow up. So there,
So
I'm
there.
never gonna be a man. I won't. I'd like to see somebody try and make me. Anybody wants to try and make me turn into a man. Catch me if you can. Remember the last verse?
Can you work? Can you work? And you want to be a hungry hippo somewhere?
Oh. Whoa, there's a lot of words I've never seen before.
Yeah. They keep singing us a song.
What's my favorite one?
Yeah, let's leave it there so they can hear us. That's
Yeah,
how-
this one.
That's how they hear us.
Oh, I won't grow up.
Oh, I won't grow up.
Not a penny will I pinch.
Not a
Penny will I pinch.
I'll never grow a mustache
Never grow a mustache.
or a fraction of an inch.
Or a fraction of an inch.
No, growing up's awfuler than all of the awful things that's ever been. I won't grow up, never gonna grow up again. Never gonna grow up,
Never
my friend. I used to know that one by heart, but it came back to me.
Good job.
Thank you so much for watching.
that
Thank you,
fun?
special guest Elliot Moore, here
Elliot
to the
Moore,
show. You
thank you,
crushed it,
sir.
buddy. You did
You
great.
did a wonderful
Thank you,
job.
Kyle. Thank you, Dad.
Yep, we're gonna watch.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go home and watch.
Yeah. Thank you all for tuning in out there. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.
Same Stretch Armstrong.
What a wonderful time.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat Nathan with his guitar.
Hey, buddy.